I'd like to welcome you to the House of Thrillers. I'm Scully, the author that reads to you. Today, we're going to be reading chapter 24, Dutch Coffee Shop. William Dempsey slept fitfully that first Dutch night, and then he remembered he was in Holland. For some reason, he wanted to take a deep breath. As he did this, he noticed that his lungs felt like meat roasted well done. He'd never felt this way before. He also noticed that it was cold in the room, a different kind of cold. He looked around and saw that the ceiling slanted above him. It dawned on him that he was in the attic of the Dutch farmhouse. It was all coming back to him now. His arrival in Amsterdam, the joints, the strong coffee, the latter part of the night a blur. As he sat there and took in the lugubrious orange glow flowing through the room, the young American started to remember the conversations he'd had with Hannah about his brother. She'd filled him in on a lot of the missing pieces from the past decade. William felt like he had become reacquainted with his sibling. He blinked his eyes several times and saw a sign that daybreak had arrived. Sparkly dust floated in battalions. A dank, odoriferous stench filled the air. He wondered if the De Boers were up yet. Outside, encircling the house, William heard the wind grumbling like a dozen pissed-off goblins. What he saw next struck him as an apparition. Plants of all shapes, sizes, and colors festooned the long beams. Some of the plants were skinny, some were fat, some were wet, others were dry. Holy shit, cannabis. He walked over to the window to make sure that a SWAT team wasn't waiting outside to take them out. William listened for signs of life downstairs. He heard nothing. He wondered what to do. Go downstairs or simply wait? Deciding on the latter, he walked around the attic admiring his new pals. He spotted a pack of rolling papers on the nightstand. Well, maybe Timo sleeps up here when he's in the doghouse. After selecting a random bud from one of the plants on the rafters, he plucked the paper from the package and began rolling a joint. As he broke the weed apart, the smell reminded him of the honeysuckles back home. After some time and effort, William produced a lousy excuse for a joint. On the second or third puff, he noticed a noise from downstairs, the Dutchman reprimanding the dog. William impulsively stubbed out the joint and placed it on the nightstand. A door slamming downstairs, clomp, clomp, clomp. The Dutchman coming up the stairs in his clodhoppers with the dog, scratch, gallop, scratch, gallop. The upstairs door opening. With 2 cups of steaming coffee in his hands, Timo de Boer entered the room. The Dutchman said, "I trust that you have made a good night's sleep." He handed William a mug. To Barco, then he said, "Ga zitten, hond." Barco knew that he'd better stay if he knew what was good for him. Although he wanted to go over and lick his new friend, he waited patiently. "How long was I asleep?" William asked. Through a smile, the old Don said, "Only a few hours. We have moved you to the attic late at night." "I guess I was a little fucked up yesterday. That's some pretty strong-ass grass y'all smoke." "Yeah, it will take some time before the lungs will allow it." "I hope you don't mind, but I kind of helped myself to one of your buds." He showed Timo the joint he'd rolled. "You will learn to make better joint later, William." William looked around and said, "That's a lot of weed you got up there." "The summer harvest, yeah." The old Don reached up and removed a bushel of weed that had a purple hue. "Take this plant, for instance. It is called the purple haze because of its flowers, you see." William examined the plant. "Damn. Oh shit, they're pretty." "Yeah, we have many different kinds of weed, eh?" "William, my friend, by the time I have finished the job with you, you'll be quite the expert in the cannabis." Timo returned the purple haze to its hook. "Shall we join Lillian and Hannah for the coffee? There will be much time for the plants later." Barco let out a yelp. He knew breakfast was on the way. "Goedemorgen." the lady said as the men entered into the room. "That's Dutch for good morning," Timon translated while walking over to the kitchen table to kiss his wife. William tried the words. "Gooey Morgan." Lillian de Boer said, "It will come, ja." Timon said something in Dutch. "I make the coffee now," Lillian returned in English. William said, "I appreciate y'all helping me and my family." The Dutchman passed the joint to William, who graciously accepted. "Here we go again," he thought. William took a few pulls and didn't cough. "Hey, not that bad this time. I guess I'm getting used to it." After breakfast, Timon's wife said something, and then she and Hannah left the kitchen for another part of the house. To William, then Timon said, "We smoke one more. Time we begin to clean up the harvest, ja." Amsterdam's red light district lies in the old part of town, near the Wallen, or the Walls. The quarter, which dates back to the 14th century, sits between Damrak and Newmarkt, and consists of long, winding cobblestone streets. Raiders have visited the district for hundreds of years, satiating their sexual desires and fulfilling their every fantasy. Jari Visser, the unruly gangster, and his goofy sidekick, Arno de Lange, scheduled to meet the Turks in less than 24 hours, figured they passed the time in the red light district. "At least it'll compensate a little for having to deal with those bloody fucking Turks," Visser said to himself. His hatred for the people from Turkey could be traced back to his youth. One of Jari's older brothers, years ago, had been stabbed and murdered by a Turk on his way home from work. The Turk only got a slap on the wrist from the Dutch courts, so Jari and his brother burned down the Turk's home. One of the Turk's siblings, a 17-month-old nephew, died of smoke inhalation. The Visser clan celebrated when they learned of the news. The Turkish family moved out of town, and ultimately nobody from Jari's family ever stood trial for the atrocity. Of course, Visser had told Constantine this story many times. Hell, the boss knew that he hated Turks. That was the fucking problem with the job. Yet here he was in Amsterdam, having to deal with them. The more he thought about it, the angrier it made him. As Arno de Lange followed his protector through Amsterdam, he pleaded with the unruly gangster. "Oh, come on, Jar. Let's go back to those two whores we were talking to a few minutes ago. I really think they liked us, and I like them too." Visser shot his partner a nasty look. "You're fucking pitiful. They were the first fucking ones. Let's shop around for a while, see if there's anything else for the taking." "Oh, come on, Jar. I really like them, and they said they'd show us a good time, remember?" "Fucking bloody hell, I can't take you anywhere." Looked around for a bit, chatted with a few prostitutes, but found little in the way of Arno's favorites. "Okay, I guess we'll go back." Arno de Lange felt like a kid getting ready to go down a water slide. Inside the cubicle, the four of them undressed and got ready for action. The jaunt would cost 1,000 guilders, all straight from the Sicilian's pocketbook. The two whores, that looked identical but weren't, appeared to have been plucked straight out of a Hustler magazine. They had long blonde hair laid around their faces and teased at the crown. Blood-red lipstick covered their beanbag lips. And each had skin like cafe au lait. After the sexual escapade, the Terrazzo-Ninian gangsters headed over to the Bulldog number 90, just around the corner. They sat amongst a small crowd and sipped a short espresso while smoking a joint. The men talked casually about the prostitutes they had just hired. Others seemed to be doing the same. Between the music and noise, Visser hadn't heard his cell phone ringing. "Is that you, Jar?" The unruly gangster took a drag off the joint and mechanically blew the smoke in Arno's face. "What the fuck you talking about?" "Your phone. Is that your phone ringing?" Visser checked his pocket. "Oh, fuck me, you're right. It wasn't often he felt this relaxed." He guessed it was because he had gotten out of Chernosing. The unruly gangster flipped open his Nokia and said, "Yeah, Visser here." "It's me, Kirk." Jari breathed in deep. "Kirk, my man, what's up?" Who's Carrick? Arno wondered. Yeah, it's no problem. I can meet you over there. Sure. Yeah. At the Bulldog near the walls. The canal boat. Okay. No problem. 5 minutes. Okay. What was that all about? Arno asked when Jari hung up. That was my connection here in Amsterdam. I called him a few days back to let him know we were coming. He says he's got something we might want to know about. Visser stood up. Listen, stay here until I get back. You fucking got it? I won't go anywhere, Jari, I promise. Across the street, down half a block, Visser met the inspector at the dock of a flat canal boat. As the two men boarded the vessel, the inspector winked at the oarman. The unruly gangster watched as Kirk, with a limping gait, padded to the bow of the boat. He saw that his informant had aged since their last meeting. The inspector's hair was salt and pepper, and his contact now sported a handlebar mustache. The men rendezvoused in the subtle light of the night, the fog drifting in around them. Their activity was largely ignored from the cobblestone streets above them. Visser could see the cheap drags of the crime force and thought to himself, they don't even pay him enough to wear decent clothes. So, Visser said as they moved down the canal, what gives? The inspector took a drag off his cigar and blew the smoke out over the water. He said, you wanted information? Well, here it is. That deal going down tomorrow, you might want to rethink it. How so? Word on the street has it that the Turks are out for blood. It seems that they have plans to kill you and your partner. How do you fucking know that? The inspector twirled at the end of his mustache, smiled, and then said, what do you think you paid me for all these years? You were the lucky one on this, though. You would have walked into a damn ambush if I hadn't called you. Then it occurred to Visser, which is why he found himself saying inwardly, Constantine set us up, that motherfucker. He couldn't help but picturing the scene of the Sicilian colluding with the Turks to take out him and Arno. What in the bloody hell is going on here? I'm a Visser, and a Visser isn't about to walk into a trap. Maybe the Turks are pissed at Constantine for not making the payment on time. A distinct possibility, he told himself. But this was the third installment. Why would the Turks want to fuck up that? They wouldn't. No, with him and Arno out of the way, Constantine will go on making the same 100 key deliveries. The Sicilian bastard has to be behind it. It was at that moment that Visser concentrated his thoughts on the fact that the Sicilian had perhaps lost his mind. Could it be true? He asked himself. Could the boss really be destroying himself? Maybe so, but why destroy your own organization? It doesn't make sense. Then again, nothing makes sense when you're dealing with this sum of money. The biggest consequence from all this dawned on me. If Constantine pulled the trigger on the setup, that means he killed Yanni. And for that, you'll have to pay. From this point on, Visser knew he'd have to be careful. Careful about what he said, careful about what he did, and moreover, careful about how he played his cards when he and Arno returned home unscathed. What would he tell the boss? After Visser thought for a while, he dialed the numbers to the villa. Mario answered and Jari was put through to Constantine. To Jari then the Zeeland boss said, enjoying your trip to Amsterdam, I trust? We're not doing the deal, Visser said point blank. What do you mean we're not doing the deal? It was a sting. Word on the street is that the police are going to bust down the operation. A brief silence ensued, as if Constantine was contemplating what had gone wrong. Visser said to himself, there it is, the bastard stumbled. The motherfucker's behind it. Fucking Sicilian gogsucker. Well, Constantine chimed, just get your asses back here. Once they were back in the car and on the way to Ternosian, Visser thought about how Constantine had underestimated him. The unruly gangster couldn't wait to see the look on the Sicilian's face when they walked into the villa. Listen, he said to Arno, and listen up real fucking good. There's some serious fucking bullshit going on right now.
I believe Constantine set us up.
Why do you think that, Yar?
Makes sense. Listen, I got this fucking idea here. You want to be a part of it? Then you better keep quiet. I don't think you realize it, but we could be fucking walking in through a shitstorm back in Ternos, and Constantine might know we're on to him.
You really think that he set us up, Yari?
Think about it. First he kills Roosevelt, then my brother, which he blames on Rutger, and then the expediter gets it.
Why would he do all that?
It's a good fucking question. One I'm gonna get to the bottom of. Look, there's no fucking point in trying to figure this all out yet. But whatever you do, don't let that motherfucker back you into a corner. Stick to the story. You got it?
I will. I don't want to die, Yari.
You ain't gonna fucking die. You stay by me, and then you can be my right-hand man.
Arno no longer tried to picture himself in this position, but couldn't.
Constantine probably didn't expect us to make it back, so we'll just see how it plays out, okay? And then Visser added, thanks to old Kirk.
Our hero, whimpered Arno. A few seconds later, after thinking about it, but wait, Yar, I thought you said he blamed Rutger's murder on you.
You see, that's when things got fucking weird. I didn't fucking kill Rutger, and here he was telling me that I did. It was like he was trying to throw me off his scent. I know it. Motherfucker trying to make me think there was no way he could have done it. I was completely thrown.
So, he tried to kill us.
I'm telling you, partner, he's a fucking psychopath.
Maybe he's planning to bring some new guys in.
Visser thought. That was the first logical thing Arno had said all day.
I mean, how's this gonna work?
You gonna fucking work for me is how it's gonna work.
What are we gonna do when we get back?
Just stay close by and let me do all the talking. Keep your fucking coffee holes shut. I told you, don't let that motherfucker back you up.
Before he made any serious moves, Visser wanted to find out what was bothering his conscience. His stubborn mind played down the list of characters in the show. Nothing came to mind, however.
Fucking bloody hell,
he said to himself. If you enjoyed the video tonight, don't forget to hit the like and leave a comment down below.